Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Strike the Blood, episode 24, the last episode of Strike the Blood. And this one starts off with Nisaragi having a bath with Kanon and Nina. That was actually, that caught me by surprise. I didn't actually expect Nina to be there. Um, and then the way the camera showed her, it made her look like she was normal size. But then it shows her in comparison to Canon and Nisaragi. You remember? Oh yeah, that's right. She's actually really small right now. So that was interesting. But Nisaragi is pretty. Oh yeah, she called Canon Nay. So another instance of her accidentally letting it slip, like what her relationships are with people. She's not actually Canon's sister, obviously, but that's what kind of relationship they have, is in like how close they are as friends, I should say. That's what I mean by relationship, not like Kojou, Nagisa type relationship, sister brother. I mean like friendship relationship. Um, but yeah, Nisaragi's talking with them, and she tells them that the dragon is a man-made strategic weapon that was created in order to consume the dragon veins and destroy the land that they support, the land of their enemies. So it's actually a pretty good idea. Your enemies can't fight you if they don't have any land like that. They can't make their weapons or do anything. Like it's pretty smart. Like and you like kill half their people and like drown them and stuff. So I mean it's pretty smart. The only problem is that they lost control of it. And so yeah, that clearly not exactly what they were hoping for. But um, yeah, and not they didn't expect it to escape to a different time period either. 20 years in the past. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that scene. Later on, there was a scene of Nisaragi talking with Moegi, and you could tell by her voice, it sounded just like Asagi. So, I mean, oh, pretty much, yeah, it sounded like Asagi, so you could already tell that there's a relation there, which we find out about at the very, very end of the episode after the ending. Speaking of Asagi, what happened after the bath scene was that Asagi, her eyes started to glow. We never actually figured out what that was about, but she's pretty much she's doing whatever she can to support the island because I think it was what 30. She found out the island is going to sink in like 30 hours. So she was trying her best to like help people get off the island and keep the island floating for as long as possible. Um, she ended up calling Kojou later, but this was after. Okay, so let's just start there. Kojou was talking with Sayaka and Himiragi. She hadn't left the island yet, actually. And Sayaka at one point, because Himiragi didn't look too good, so Sayaka checked her temperature, and Kojou like got embarrassed about it, and Sayaka was talking about we can do stuff like that because we're close. Because I've known her since we were children, but you've only known her for a few months. That's why you think things like that. And Kojou's like, you're right. It has only been a few months. Now that you mention it. And he realizes that they've been through so many different story arcs that it's felt like longer than 3 months. However, Himiragi takes that the wrong way, and she thinks, like when Kojou says it's felt like it's longer than that, she thinks of it as him saying that he thinks of her as a nuisance, pretty much, which is not what he meant at all. But he meant it more like he felt like he was closer to her than a normal person would be after being with her for 3 months. But she, being the state of mind that she's in, doesn't really take it that way. And she ends up telling them about her order to leave. And she talks about what she's done with Kojou from a point of view that I actually never considered. You realize that she's there to observe him, but you never really think about the fact that she gave him her blood and made him stronger, made him more of a threat, and accelerated. She accelerated his becoming the true fourth progenitor. So like, he's just a bigger threat now than he was before, which is not what the Lion King organization wanted at all. That's like the opposite. So I thought it was interesting to look at that from a different point of view. But at the same time, her other purpose in being there was to get close to Kojou and to make him not want to betray her and therefore not want to betray the Lion King organization that she is a part of, which she is actually succeeding in since she is supposed to become his queen, you know, which Mega Itagami actually mentioned that too. He was in this episode. That caught me off guard. He mentioned it. He actually knows about the like all the queen stuff too. Um, so, I mean, he's in the Lion King organization too, so I mean that's not much of a surprise. But that at least shows that he's relatively high up. I mean, he was talking with what's her face a while back too, so I guess that would hint at that too. Um, he called Himuragi queen, and he referred to someone as the priestess of Kain, which I assumed at the time was Nisaragi, but why would he know about Nisaragi? Um, Maybe it was like, I don't know, Sayaka or Natsuki. I don't know. It could be anyone, really. Anyone who's a girl. um, but whatever. I'm like going really far ahead here. Um, After Himuragi tells Kojou and Sayaka about her order to go back and everything, she ends up leaving. And Kojou wants to stop her from leaving, but he remembers how Nisaragi actually got stabbed the last episode, and he realizes that if Himuragi stays with him, the same thing might happen to her one day, because just like he was unable to protect Nisaragi, he might be unable to protect Himuragi. So that kind of keeps him from leaving, and it makes sense. But Sayaka's response to this is to say that he's the fourth progenitor, and no matter what he does, disaster will always follow him, and it'll always hurt the people close to him. So it's kind of just best to have someone with you to help, you know, someone like Himuragi who actually can help protect others as well. Which, I mean, I would have, if this arc would have been longer, if there were more episodes, I would have liked for this to have gone away where Kojou says, well, that doesn't really help anything because I'd still be hurting the people around me. So in order to stop hurting the people around me, I'll just leave altogether and like isolate myself so that way no one I care about will be hurt. And then there would be some development with everyone trying to get him to realize that him leaving them would hurt them more than the disaster that follows him. If that was clear at all. I would have liked to go that way, but again, it's, last episode can't really do that with just one episode. So oh well, I guess it was fine the way they did it. But yeah, he gets up. To see he was slapped by Sayaka. He gets up and he starts running to go find Himuragi. However, he ends up running into the dragon. He sees the dragon in the city. And Yaze is trying to control the situation with like the island guard and all that. Asagi, and this is when Asagi calls Kojou and tells him to leave the island because she still thinks he's like a normal, like ordinary person when he's like the strongest person on the island. And he tells her, no, I'm not leaving while you're still here. I'm not going to ban you like that. And she's like, oh, wow, he really does care about me that much. And she was going to take advantage of the situation because, well, she said it right. She said, this might be the last time I get to tell you this. So remember that time I kissed you? Well, ... She was going to confess to him, but of course, the phone service stops, which, you kind of got the feeling that this was that was going to happen because this is a side story. It's not like it's a side story. So it's not a part of the main plot. It's still canon, but it's not a part of the main plot, and therefore you aren't going to see any major developments happen. So, you see Asagi get ready to confess, and like, I want her to do it, but it's not going to happen outside the main story. It's not going to happen in the side story. That something like that doesn't. Something like that needs to happen in a legitimate arc, you know. So you kind of got the feeling it was going to happen, but it still kind of hurt to actually see it. But oh well. Um, after that, Kojou decides to go fight against the dragon, and Himeragi wants to go and help, but she doesn't. She ends up getting confronted by Nisaragi, and Nisaragi tells her, you know, I don't care what a sword shaman wants. I don't care what the Lion King organization wants. I want to know what you as a person wants, you as a girl. And she says, well, I obviously I don't want to leave. I want to stay. All right. So she says, all right, good. You finally admitted that. So then she activates a familiar. Nisaragi does. I mean, she activates a familiar and says she has something to give her, which we learn later on is a new Schnee-Strom Wolfen whatever blah 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 spear thing. All right. And after that scene, we see Kojou fighting against the dragon, Astarte, Natsuki, Sayaka. They're all fighting against the dragon. They actually kill it a couple times, but every time they kill it, it gets revived by this crystal thing that absorbs magic and uses it to like heal it up and all that nonsense. So it's it was actually kind of funny. Kojou says, "Oh, so this is what it's like to fight an immortal enemy." Like, it was just kind of funny. I kind of ruined the joke there, but it was just kind of funny to see Kojou's reaction to fighting something that's immortal. But at one point he uses Regulus' arm, but it gets absorbed by the dragon, and he kind of gets like shocked or of some like I don't really know what happened there, but there was some type of feedback damage from Regulus' arm being absorbed, and Battler shows up, and he wants to take the dragon down by going all out, which would destroy the island, which I mean, the island's going to sink anyway, so, I mean, you might as well. But that's when Himeragi and Nisaragi show up saying, nah, that won't be necessary. Alright, and Nisaragi informs everyone that the old Wolfen spear thing, it didn't break because the dragon was too strong. It broke because Himeragi was just too strong. Her spirit energy has grown so much since coming to the island that the Wolfen just couldn't handle it all, and that's why it broke, right? So she gives well, Himeragi already had it. What she gave her before was a new Schnee-Strom Wolfen, which was 20 years in the making. Okay, let's not try and do Steins Gate here, shall we? Let's leave the time travel to Steins Gate and like all this stuff. But whatever. It's a side story, so things happen. It's not like filler. It's canon, but you know, at least I would assume it's canon. But the point I'm trying to make is that things have to end the way they started. Essentially, that's what I was talking about with the Sagi earlier. You can't have any major developments, you know. So the end is gonna have to be the same as the beginning in terms of like the situation and everything like that. So you knew she had to get it back and not leave. So yeah, there's that. And Himeragi takes the new Wolfen and hits the dragon with it and keeps it down for a little bit, long enough to talk to Kojou. Though they didn't really do much talking. She like it was kind of funny. Like it was really sudden too. She was just like all of a sudden like like I'm like, dude, calm down, Himeragi. Then Kojou was even worse. He like pounced on her. It was like it didn't even take him a second. Like his eyes turned red, and all of a sudden he was like all in there. Like everyone else is like, oh Jesus Christ, like calm down. Well, Battler was like, dude, why don't you do that to me? Astarte was just like there calmly as usual, and Natsuki was just like, oh Jesus Christ, say soon, youth. Sayaka was like it hurt watching Sayaka have to watch that. Then Nisaragi was the best though, because she's like, oh, like. I don't want to watch, but I do want to watch. So that was all the reactions to that. They were just hilarious. And then after that, keep in mind, Kojou sucked her blood, but he didn't get a new familiar because, like I said, you can't have any actual developments. So all he did was get a power up. He didn't actually get a new familiar. Um, but they step up to fight the dragon, who's back on its feet now. And they do, they're contractually obligated. This is my fight. No, senpai, this is our fight. I thought it was funny. In the Crunchyroll comments, people are like, I swear to God, if she says this is our fight one more time. Some people were like, yeah, Kojou should troll her once and say this is our fight before she actually gets the chance to. And she'll step up to say it. She'll be like, oh, wait, what? Huh? Like, I just find it funny that people in Crunchyroll are funny. But yeah, this time it's not just Himeraki and Kojou now. Nisaraki steps up too, and they have like their spears crossed and everything. So yeah, then they beat the dragon. Yeah, simple. It's classic strike the blood. After the "This is our fight" line. This is our fight is the equivalent of talking to jutsu. Literally, as soon as they drop that line, then there's nothing you can do to stop them. It's like they unleash their ultimate finish, their ultimate finishing ninjutsu, and that's just it. So, but yeah, that's how the fight ends, and we see Meigo Itagami, like I mentioned earlier, Princess of Kind, Queen. Oh yeah, he had Mogwai on his phone too. That was interesting. Yeah, Sagi was the one who created it, so did he like hack into Mogwai's system or something? Like, did he steal the technology so that he could get Mogwai on his phone too? Like, I don't know what to think about that. Was he working with Asagi? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting though, because I had actually forgotten about him. Since it's been like what 4 or 5 episodes since we've seen him, so I had actually forgotten about him for a second or two. Then I saw, oh yeah, I forgot that dude. So yeah, that was interesting. And later we get the comedy bit that should have seen coming from a mile away, but Sayaka tells Himeragi that order she got to return to the Lion King organization was not her being relieved of her duties. It was just them telling her to come back for a medical blood test. Really? Because they wanted to make sure that they hadn't blood bonded with any. Whenever you're in contact with a vampire, you have to get a blood test every once in a while to make sure you haven't blood bonded, which means Himuragi's gonna fail. But ignore that because again, that blood test is never gonna actually show up in the series ever again anyway, probably. But yeah, that's that. The rest is like Nisaragi stuff. She ends up leaving, and she calls Himeragi mom. And the two of them are like, huh, what do you suppose she meant by that? And I'm like, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. But luckily, they actually did put 2 and 2 together. But they're like, nah, no way. That can't be true. Nah. Well, yes. I mean, it's just, like, she looks exactly like Himeragi. She has a wolfen spear, intelligent weapon type thing. And she's a vampire. I mean, unless you're trying to tell me that one of her familiars is called Asta Arm. Regulus Arm, Asta Arm. I mean, she's not Vatler's kid if that's what you're thinking. Like, come on. It's true, just admit it. Luckily, and that's pretty much the end, though. We get a little bit after the ending, which was interesting, too. It's when Nisaragi returns 20 years in the future. We see Moegi. Oh, we learned her name is Reina, too. But we see Moegi. She says that Asagi is her mom. Right? Reina trolled us, man. She said, it was nice to see my mom and dad interact before my dad died. And I'm like, wait, what? He's immortal. He can't die. What happened? No, don't do this. Then Mogi's like, he's not dead. You just talked to him this morning. I was like, wow, really? Like, if it wasn't for freaking Nagima, I wouldn't have fallen for that. Because Nagima pulled this stupid crap with, like, immortal people dying with freaking Negi. I'm like, if it wasn't for freaking Nagima, I wouldn't have fallen for that crap. She had the freaking, like, cliche look that girls in anime have. Like, they stick their tongue out and crap. And made me feel like an idiot. Freaking Nagima, man. But whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode. Um, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just because, like, I don't even. Because in the end, there couldn't be any major developments or anything like that because it was a side story. So, I mean, yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It was interesting, but not interesting enough to make me watch it and say, "Wow, this is so good," you know. So yeah, um, uh, I mean, the thing you would have to assume is that Kojou is both Moegi's and Reina's dad, which is what most of the people in Crunchyroll are saying. So, I mean, harem ending. Why not? Get LaFoy in there too while you're at it. Can't hurt, you know. But yeah, that's it. This episode gets a 7 out of 10. And as far as my overall series rating for the series, I'll save that for later because if you didn't see my Tokyo Ravens review, I'm doing this. I'm going to start this segment soon called on my channel called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And essentially, what it's going to be is it's a full series review for anime, manga, whatever. And the first one I'm doing is Kill la Kill. The second one I'm doing is Tokyo Ravens, and the third one I'm going to do is Strike the Blood. So I'll just save it for then. But yeah, until then, that's it, you guys. This episode gets a 7 out of 10. 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. Why not? And that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Freaking Yukina, man.